Hey, what's going on guys? Perspective here, and today we're going to take a look at the Thermaltake Versa J24 Tempered Glass RGB edition. This is a mid-tower ATX case with an MSRP of $100, but can be found for as low as $70. It weighs about 13.5 pounds or 6.2 kilograms. It has a 4mm thick tempered glass side panel, which happens to be held onto by only 2 thumb screws and slides off of the case just like this. It has a mesh top as well as a mesh front panel. The front panel is really easy to remove by using your hand to pry it off, kind of like this. Move your thumb upward and the next 3 or 4 fingers push it towards the case and it comes right off just like this. And comes with 3 120mm RGB fans. Anyway, it comes with 3 120mm RGB fans here in the front, as well as 1 120mm standard fan here in the back. But you can fit 2 120mm fans on the top or 140, or you can change the 3 120mm fans in the front for 2 140s if you prefer. It also has 16 different RGB modes here that can be controlled with this button in the front I/O. The front I/O has 2 USB 3.0, microphone jack, a headphone jack. You also got the power and the RGB controller right here. I don't know why they put it as one button though. I don't really like this at all. It's actually kind of strange to me. Why would you put these 2 buttons as one? And if I'm wrong here, if this is not the power button, then what the heck is it? And also has a built-in fan controller here in the back. Just like the V200, it controls 3 RGB fans here and 1 standard fan there. And if you wanted to control the RGBs using programs like Asus Sync or MSI Mystic Lite, then you would connect a cable here to your motherboard to do so. This is also powered by a SATA connector. It also has a perforated power supply shroud as well, and a window here to show off your power supply. It also has toolless drive bays where you can fit up to 7 different areas with 2.5 or 3.5 inch drives. It can fit CPU coolers up to 160 millimeters in height for some perspective here, or graphics cards up to 330 millimeters like this one right here. It can also fit power supplies up to 160 millimeters as well. The case also supports up to 360 millimeter of radiator for custom loops, as well as 240 millimeters for all-in-ones. It can also support 120 millimeter radiators in the back for either custom loops or all-in-ones. Alright, now let's build in it. So that's the Thermaltake Versa J24 tempered glass RGB edition. There's a lot that I like about this case. It's got a lot of airflow, and you can control the RGB using third-party software. Having to remove 2 screws for the tempered glass side panel was a pleasant surprise, especially considering that once it's pushed all the way through this way, you can't pull it off, and then once you pull it back, it comes all the way off because there's a clamp right here in the front of the tempered glass side panel, which leads to the build. I would give this a build rating of 5 out of 5. It was super easy to build in. The front fans were already equipped with long enough screws so that it was basically AIO ready right out of the box. At least that was the case for me in the Corsair H105. There were a lot of mounting points for cable management, so it made cable management really easy and very pleasing for me as well, because there's one thing that I like to do in my builds is I like to do cable management. One thing that's a huge plus for me though, this will probably be the last thing as far as my rating on the build goes, is that the PCI plates in the back, they weren't the kind that you would break off and throw away. They each had their own perforated plate screwed on. This is a big plus for me because you can keep them and put them back on if you decide to, say, sell your case, or if you happen to get a smaller graphics card or remove other components. But yeah, aesthetically, I'd give it a 5 out of 5 as well. I really like its minimalistic look, and the mesh front panel makes the RGB lights very subtle. I like the black tint that goes around the tempered glass side panel also. I feel it really complements the case and really showcases what's inside the build, especially if you have RGB components inside. As for anything bad about the case, I can't really say much, I guess, except for the RGB switch button from the front IO is labeled reset switch. It really fooled me into plugging it into the motherboard when I was remanaging cables, because after I was done with the build I would press the RGB button and nothing would change. But yeah, other than that, I really had no problem at all with the case. It would be nice though if it was labeled, but at the same time it's my fault for not remembering that it was plugged into the controller. But still, it would be nice if it was labeled there. Other than that, that's pretty much my thoughts on the Thermaltake Versa J24 tempered glass RGB. Thank you for watching. I hope this helped you out a little bit. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, subscribe and stay tuned, because I will see you in the next video. Peace. So that's the